Realm Makers, it's fantastic. There's so many amazing creators here, authors, designers, fans.
The environment here, when you walk in, whether it's your first year or your 12th year, every time you walk in, somebody is there ready to encourage you. Everybody is here working for each other. It's like coming home every year.
There's a purpose that feels like is intrinsically weaved into the DNA of this conference.
When we all kind of share this idea of like a love for beauty, a love for the craft, the cross-pollination and just the inspiration that goes on between the different fields is remarkable.
I wouldn't have books without Realm.
I've been to every major conference in the industry. Realm Makers is very interesting because of its specificity. This is the only one that is 100% focused on the speculative genre.
Hello, welcome to the Realm Makers live stream. I'm Scott Minor. I'll bring Becky on screen to join me in just a minute. Before we get started, I want to thank our subscribers in the Realm Sphere for cultivating such a dynamic online community, and for our newest members of the Realm Makers Mastermind and Business Accelerator, which authors can plug into for our most exclusive opportunities at the conference and throughout the 12 months afterward. Thank you also to our business partners, Lorehaven, Havoc Publishing, Enclave Publishing, and Oasis Family Media, Soma Games, Towers of Light, and Brainy Pixel. We're really thankful for our business partners here. We welcome everyone watching on our social channels, but be aware that only subscribers here in the Realm Sphere have access to the chat and to post questions in the Q&A. After we answer the top few most popular questions, we'll move on to the subscriber-only portion. So only those who joined from within the Realm Sphere, that's our private social network, you will stick around for some inside baseball, peek behind the curtain, so to speak, on a very important topic. So we invite our subscribers to stick around. After we close the public portion of this State of the Realm, it'll feel like we're ending, but there's more for you. And so with this State of the Realm, boy, that sounds so important. To us, it is. This is a very special broadcast. We're preempting our monthly rundown to present our annual State of the Realm, where Becky and I share with the Realm Makers community vital information about where Realm Makers is heading in 2026, and to share exciting developments relating to everything Realm Makers has to offer. Now, very quickly, there are some important events coming up. The annual conference is the big event of the year in 2026. It is at the end of June. Now, I want to make sure that you all can hear me, right? I think perhaps you didn't hear me as I was switching to this image there. But the annual conference is the big event of the year. And in 2026, it is at the end of June instead of mid to late July. And 3 full days instead of just 2.5. We'll talk about why that is and more in just a few minutes. Also, Realm Award submissions. Those are closing January 21st. Well, technically, that depends upon your time zone, right? we are in Pennsylvania, Becky and I. So at 3 a.m., January 22nd, that is midnight Pacific time. That is when submissions for the Realm Awards will close. So don't delay until then. Get your submissions in today. I'm going to pop over to the chat just to make sure that something catastrophic is not true, that I'm just on mute this whole time or anything like that. I
You're
appreciate
not.
seeing everybody in the chat. Sounds like you can all hear me and everything. So I'm going to go back. Now, the next thing that's coming up, the day after submissions close, we are announcing our Aurora Award winners. So come to the Realm Makers Realm Sphere and you will be able to participate and watch that presentation next Thursday, January 22nd at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Every time we mention times, it's going to be Eastern because that's where Becky and I live. We're out near Philadelphia. And then our 7th annual winter retreat is coming up. It's just 4 weeks away. If what you need is a spiritual refresh or encouragement in your writing, this may be the year for you. There's still room to join us on the Emerald Coast. This is our first beach retreat, and Becky will share more details about this in just a little bit. I'm going to bring Becky on screen here so that she can join us both. And hello.
I made it.
All right. No crucial errors up to this point, right? I wasn't unmuted or anything.
I don't think so. I think we're rolling actually.
Woohoo! All right. So we're going pretty well. Now, moving right along now, Becky, you are the founder of the feast, or Realm Makers, that is. Pardon my Dickens. But I can't believe we're here in our 14th year of all this. I thought maybe you could share how in the world we got here. Is this what you imagined would grow in 2012 when the seeds of this idea germinated?
My motto lately has been, I never thought I'd get this far. But when we go back to 2012, I had been writing for a few years at that point. I had some fantasy novels written, but at that point, I discovered there really wasn't a true gathering place for ministering to speculative fiction authors who were Christians. So I kind of toyed with some ideas about, like, oh, maybe we need a fantasy con or with less booth girls, or maybe we need to have an authors cooperative so we could share the burden of taking our books out and selling them at big events. But what God eventually led me to was the notion of a writers conference, specifically just for nerds like us, the speculative fiction writers who love God as well, and for the people who didn't feel like they actually fit at the existing events that were already out there. I just had no idea how many of these people would, show up, the ones that I had met online. So I kind of hoped, I took a step of faith, and I hoped for 25. And then we got 60 for the first Realm Maker. So that was really a blessing and turned out to be greater than we thought, of course. And by the end of it, everybody's asking, are we doing this again next year? So we did. And 14 years in a row, we did. And so now our little one-room conference at a university is a big, bustling event that only works in a handful of venues that we've found in the US. And we've expanded, add tons of additional events and online experiences. So that's been a real great, exciting thing to see grow.
So fast forward to today, Becky, perhaps maybe we should proceed chronologically. So let me ask, what are the most important things people should know right now?
At this moment, you started to touch on those a little bit with some of the graphics you put up. The other in-person event that we do each year is our retreat, and that is a slower paced, smaller group experience. So for February 15th to 19th, Lindsay Franklin, who is an author and Enclave editor, is going to come and teach us and help us understand our part we play in the stories we write. Some of the great perks of this retreat is This year we're doing more sun. We're going to the beach on the Emerald Coast of Florida. It's going to have great value. We'll be lodging in Florida, and that's less pricey than Colorado or Sandy Cove. And we still have space. We have a cute shared house that we can still fill, and other spots for people as well. And of course, there's more connecting at the retreat if you want to go deep with other writers. You can talk specifically about your work in progress, and the retreat is the best place for that. If you're stuck, you can go out and bounce ideas off another attendee. Or maybe you just want to go full hermit the whole time and just go, I'm going to go back to my room and write and have solitude, and nobody's going to interrupt that. That's totally an option. Things are more flexible at this particular retreat with food. If you want to be very careful about what you've been dining on, you can cook your own food right in your own accommodations. One of the other cool things that we're doing, of course, is an online retreat that's going to happen afterwards. We're going to put that at a different date, and we'll update you on that in a little bit. And if you do that stay-at-home retreat, it's like a staycation. You do it jammies and in your jammies style. If you sign up online, you can hide in whatever corner you use to write in your house, and sleep in your own bed. There's value to that. But that's not just the only thing happening right now. We always have a lot of things going. Before the retreat, we'll have the Aurora contest live stream, and we'll announce our winners for the contest for those unpublished authors. I know that a lot of folks have been waiting for that to happen. And last but certainly not least, the submission period for the Realm Awards is coming up fast, just in a week. January 21st is the final day to submit your novel, short story, audio, comic, or graphic novel to the contest. And if you go to awards.realmmakers.com, all the details are there. If this is the first you've heard of the Realm Awards, but you published a book in 2025, you can head over there and figure out if this contest is really good for you.
This is the 11th year of the Realm Awards?
I believe so. Yep. The 10th anniversary, 11th awards.
Crazy. Now, I guess moving on here, later this spring, we have our mobile bookstore events to keep everything chronologically here. I suppose let me get the bookstore stuff out of the way, because once we start talking about the conference, that's going to carry us into the Q&A. And just about the Q&A, I do see a couple of you have already put questions in the Q&A. We won't be able to answer every question that is put in the Q&A, particularly before we move on to the subscriber-only portion. But we'll touch on some more of the Q&A at the end of the subscriber-only portion. So if you see a question that you want an answer to, give it a little thumbs up vote in the Q&A, and then that will make it pop to the top, because we will focus on those most popular questions as we answer just a few before we move on to the subscriber-only portion. So now, with regard to the bookstore, so much has happened in the bookstore since we launched that at the end of 2017 at the 2017 conference. Really, 2018 was when we hit it really hard. Let me start with who am I? Why am I even here? Why am I the CEO of Realm Makers? Well, here is the scoop. So Becky let me help in some practical but increasingly important ways at the beginning. See, Becky would ask me a question that I would recognize as being a very big question. As in, she'd say, I remember she was in her office and she would shout, as I'm in my office, which is really the living room, today is the last day to submit to be a vendor at DragonCon. Should I do it? This was in 2017. And in 2019, she asked, I wonder what it takes to have a kiosk at the mall, just out of curiosity. Well, I would always respond, do you really want to know? That's going to start something. So I got involved trying to realize these big ideas that Becky would have. Now, first with book sales at the conference, that was really where I got started in 2013 in the consignment bookstore. Then in 2015 with our venue site search, looking ahead to 2017, we wanted to announce at the 2016 conference, for the first time, be able to announce where we were going to be the following year in 2017. Because as Becky said, every year people would say, so what's happening next year? And we wouldn't know. So we solved that in 2016. We've tried to do that every year since. The mobile bookstore started in 2018, and we did about 25 events across homeschool conventions, book festivals, fantasy cons, big and small, even our local Renaissance Fair. We did about 7 weekends at the Pennsylvania Renaissance Fair. So that was huge. And then we thought, well, let's pull back in 2019. We did 5 homeschool conventions, and then we thought we'd kick it up a notch again in 2020. But of course, everybody knows that didn't happen. So that was when I really had to take over more integrally with the conference in 2020, because everybody had to pivot to a virtual conference. And that was something that, well, at the time, Becky and I agreed that I was a bit more capable of wrangling at that time. And that was also when we launched our private social network, where many of you who are here on this live stream caught the link here in the Realm Sphere. We do have a number of folks listening on Facebook or on Instagram, LinkedIn, or out on YouTube at the moment. But by 2021, I realized that as a result of the work that I had done from 2013 through 2020, in order to serve Becky's vision for the conference and keep up with the momentum Realm Makers has gained with the relationships I'd established, I quite unexpectedly stepped into a position of influence within the publishing industry. I'm not an author, not an editor, an agent, or a publisher, but I have become an independent bookseller who knows a lot of authors. So that expertise is something that I have sought out since we've opened our mobile and now our physical bookstore at the King of Prussia Mall, which opened in 2021. So since 2021, I've endeavored to do for myself professionally what I've seen many of you do at Realm Makers. I was never a conference goer before we started Realm Makers. And now, upon discovering that what I've built since 2021 is a professional network with Christians across all forms of media. Many of you saw that played out significantly at the 2025 Expo. And so now, the best way I can serve you all in 2026 is in a few specific ways. I want to improve your ability to find your unique audience by bringing you and your future biggest fans together at the Expo, as well as at Bookish at the King of Prussia Mall that I mentioned. That's at the 3rd largest mall in the United States, and we're the only bookstore there, with a conspicuously large number of Christian authors on the shelf, as well as being on location with the Realm Makers bookstore. Realm Award winners are invited to join us there. We've had members of faculty and other more famous special guests join us. Not to mention, Realmies who are local to those events also come and join us. The second thing I want to do is increase the visibility of our community within the larger media landscape by attending professional conferences, cooperating with other similar sister communities, and supporting creators in a broader array of media. And the third thing is to become a bridge between our Realm Makers community of authors and artists and emerging opportunities in new media. Now, perhaps this begins to explain what has prompted our newest subscriber groups, the Realm Makers Mastermind and the Business Accelerator. I will work on behalf of the authors who've come through the conference. They've conquered all the publishing essentials, developed a steady habit of writing and a growing body of work, and are now at the point of taking a shot at making writing their full-time career. If you want more exclusive opportunities and to join the events that have become, by virtue of the economy of the last few years, just too expensive to offer at what we think is a reasonable price, such as meals with faculty, for instance, you may want to consider joining the Realm Makers Mastermind or the Business Accelerator. They're higher ticket items here in the Realm Sphere, but you can participate in our events everywhere from just attending the expo to attending the conference to attending at one of these higher levels. And if you want more information about each, I love subdomains. You can go to mastermind.realmmakers.com. Submissions to join the mastermind closed a couple months back, but if you're listening to this and you are curious, you may certainly visit mastermind.realmmakers.com and fill out the form there to apply. And that will begin at the conference and go for 12 months following the conference. And then the accelerator, you could find information at accelerator.realmmakers.com. Now, back to our actual bookstore. Now, it's really hard to explain what we do at these events. So if you will permit me, I'm going to show, it's less than 2 minutes. It's a little video of our booth about a year and a half ago, 2024, in Orlando at the Florida Parent Educators Association Conference. Here's a little walk around our booth. I don't narrate this at all, but it's brief. I think you'll appreciate seeing what we do when we are out with the Realm Makers bookstore.
Takes about 10 minutes a day.
I suppose I can narrate since I'm still here on the microphone. There's Connie White there. She joined us. And Mike Naraki.
It's a 13-episode series.
Larry the Cucumber.
Yeah. So all the books will be animated. So every 22-minute animated video is like one book. Yeah. So yeah.
He joined us at the expo in 2025. We sell a lot of the Dead Sea Squirrels at these events, especially when he's with us. We've got a whole wall of classics there. This is the sci-fi table. Of course, that's where the boys are, right? Amish Vampires and Spain.
Go ahead.
We promote Enclave, authors of the special display. You'll see a little Lorehaven area there. There's Stacey Burnett holding down the fort. I just love seeing the boys in the booth checking out the books. This is where Sarah Ella was. She's taking a little break at the moment. We rope our boys into helping us whenever they're available. That's nice thing done. And there we go. So it's like an 800 square foot island booth at the largest homeschool convention in the country. We literally sell around 2,000 books when we are at that event each year. It's super exciting, and I find great value and satisfaction being able to promote your books and the Realm Award-winning books that come through at the conference. And this year, we're not only attending the two we typically do. The two largest ones in the U.S. are in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, around Cinco de Mayo, and in Orlando, Florida, over Memorial Day weekend. But this year, we're adding Cincinnati, as well as St. Louis homeschool conventions to that list, and we're going to be promoting the expo furiously. So that is very exciting. I'm going to bring Becky back on here now because it is just about time. I think it is time. We've covered everything else. Let's talk about the conference and expo. Have I missed anything in the chat? Is there anything we need to address?
Just excitement. That's good. We like excitement.
Yeah, if you are local to any of our homeschool conventions, and I mean, we are helpful to we're thankful to have help from those local Realmies. Feel free to reach out to me at scott@realmmakers.com, or within the Realm Sphere, you can just direct message me if our homeschool conventions are something that you would like to support. And it requires carrying a lot of boxes of books. we bring a few tons of books, literally, each year.
Michelle wants to know when we're going to be in Cincinnati. What are the dates for that? Do you know off the
I
top of your head?
do. Let me go over to the calendar here because I didn't write those there. All right. So in March, at the end of March, we will be in St. Louis for the March 26th through the 28th. And that's technically at the St. Charles Convention Center, very close to St. Louis.
Yep.
2
Close.
weeks later, after Easter, so these are going to bookend Easter, the Cincinnati Homeschool Convention will be April 9th through the 11th.
Yep, Stacy has that in the chat for us too.
Yeah, the
It
Duke
actually, it
Energy
looks like April.
Convention
Yeah,
Center.
she said 8 and 9, but 9th through 11 is probably it, depending on
Yeah,
what's
it
the weekend.
starts Thursday, goes through Saturday. So 9, 10, 11.
Excellent.
Yep.
All right. So do you want me to roll us over into conference and expo world?
Roll them.
All right, here we go. Of course, the conference and the expo are our big flagship event at the summer, and we've taken basically the best aspects of a writers conference, a Christian media convention, a fan con, and kind of rolled them all into one. And the reason that happened is because there were literally no other events specifically focused on serving Christian creative authors and artists who are producing content in the genres of fantasy and science fiction and all of their stepchildren. There's just a lot of different fun stuff that we do, right? This has resulted in recently growing to include other underserved nerd-related industries like graphic novels, gaming, animation, film, audio drama, and voiceover work. So we've discovered that we're kind of all the same amazing type of creative people, no matter what form our stories take. So we have a lot to teach each other. We have a lot of overlap and a lot of ways to serve one another as well. So we've all held on to our love for Jesus and refused to allow the world to tell us which way we should follow. And that just helps us to write stories that are more true. One interesting factoid that we've discovered recently, over the last 14 years, our community has turned out to be pretty cross-generational. We have about 30% Gen Z, we have about 30% millennials. I'm in the 30% that's Gen X, and 9% of us are boomers. So we're proud of the fact that we've got this awesome mix of creators of every age. And this is definitely healthy and ensures great opportunities for people to mentor one another, to learn, and to just be a support and have different perspectives. And it's another example of accomplishing something noteworthy without specifically aiming for it. We're super grateful that Christian pioneers have led the way so that we can even do this. People like Kathy Tyers Gilden, one of our keynote speakers for 2026, is one of those said pioneers who's been at this before, she was doing it before it was cool, right? So we are just super, super thankful that there were those who paved the way when there was nothing known as Christian speculative fiction. 2026 is going to be another dynamic year for us, as they all are. Our circumstances are constantly changing, and so we're constantly adjusting. I'm pleased to share that we're making changes due to growth, industry expansion, and a new venue. And everybody's like, why do you change everything all the time? Why can't you just keep it the same? And it's basically because we're just trying to listen every year and learn from what's happening, what's about to happen. We listen to you and to our faculty and to our experiences out there. And of course, we listen to the Lord's leading as we discover our circumstances, new relationships, and encouragement from godly people that we trust. Growth is a big reason we make changes. We've had to search out larger venues, and it becomes exponentially more difficult to find one that can fit us and is the right fit. And bigger means more expensive sometimes. We thought maybe we should just cap attendance and stay at the chalet and stay insular, but we decided against that. Instead, we're just inviting anybody who can come, and hopefully that will help us to network even better. We have kind of like a national or even global audience, and we've experimented with a handful of cities over the years, and every time we move the conference, it kind of requires a unique recipe. Compromise is always part of the package when we're trying to learn and grow. So in order to get a venue we determined would be the best, we had to compromise and move the conference to June, for example, this year. We have secured dates for July 21st through 24th in 2027 at the same venue, the Union Station in St. Louis. So that's kind of closer to what we are used to as our normal dates. We'll be a little earlier this year. And there's always some people who are like, yay, June. And some people are like, oh no, June. So we do the best we can for everybody. And we do understand that sometimes changes make things change for you as well. So new venue, new year, new stuff going on at the conference and expo. So we want to talk a little bit about that because some of our veterans have, preconceived notions that we've formed. And so we want to help you know what to expect. St. Louis is familiar to us, of course. So we're back there and we really like that as a destination city for us because of the fact that it's very central and pretty easy to get to. And we really loved the Sheraton Westport Chalet while it worked for us. But we really needed elbow room there. I mean, if any of you were at the dinner or in the exhibitor area, we've maxed out their ballrooms and exhibitor space. We did that a couple of years ago, honestly, and we kept making it go. And but now we are looking for space ever since that's going to be a little bit more usable for us. I think Scott was going to tell us a little bit about Union Station because there's some cool details there. Scott, do you want to fill in?
Sure. Well, this is a picture of it. And
Very nice.
I thought, gee, maybe I'll create a little video and show this wonderful video. And well, I didn't quite get to the point of making a little video. I may still before, as we're registering people for the conference and everything, but not in time for this. But this is an 1894 restored train station, the largest train station in the US here in St. Louis. It's absolutely gorgeous inside. This is the Grand Hall, which is where, like, if you look at the far end of this room, you see a couple arches. That's where you check in, right? This is the entrance to Union Station. Absolutely gorgeous. And the expo will be here in the Midway. This is where people would wait for their trains back in the day, although it was changed into a mall with shopping until it was closed and turned into what it is today with meeting rooms, all in conjunction. So you've got to walk through the expo to get to some of the other rooms or events happening at the conference. All of the ballrooms are in one other part of the I don't have all the pictures here to show you, but it's absolutely stunning. And there is, if anybody who's come to the chalet and joined us there, this is everything the chalet, all the best things about the chalet and more. It's actually even owned by the same parent company, right? So having very convenient food options that aren't related to the hotel right outside the hotel. There's probably 6 or 8 different food options. There there's the enormous, you can probably see in the distance here, the Ferris wheel. That is right on the campus, the property of the Union Station. And there's a total of like 4 different amusement park rides that are for designed for, anybody can enjoy them, but they're kind of designed for littles. There's one roller coaster even, and there's a huge pond full of very hungry fish.
Scary koi. Look out for the scary koi.
They're
They totally
scooting
freaked
over
me out.
each
We had
other
this
trying to get at the
silly
food
video
and
about it.
everything.
And
It's
don't forget
connected
about
to an aquarium.
I was going to say, don't forget the aquarium.
Yeah. And now we don't have as deep of pockets to do this, maybe some other future year, but when you're in the expo, if you go over to the other side of the midway, there are doors that they can open where you could like walk right into the shark exhibit from the expo. We're not going to do that.
Like not into the tank, just, where you can see them through the glass.
No. You can swim with the sharks.
You're going to swim with them?
They'll
They didn't offer me
totally
that
let you
option
swim
when
with
I
the
was
sharks.
there.
I mean, I'll let you swim with the sharks. I mean, hey, I can't
We're not
stop you.
insured for that.
Yeah. And then the other one, they can open up the door and it's just you, acrylic, like plexiglass, and then all the otters. The otter exhibit is there. But you're not getting, you'd have to go to the aquarium to see those this year. We're not opening up those walls. You got to spend money just to open up a wall. But it is a lot of fun. And so, as pertaining to the hotel, is there more that certainly more we could share forever on the different options there? But I would definitely encourage you to go to, like, if you just Google, St. Louis Union Station, they've got a whole website full of all sorts of things that you can do. So, if you are one of our many authors who bring their family with them to Realm Makers, this makes that so much easier and more enjoyable and a really excellent experience for everyone involved. So if that is something you'd be interested to do, this would be a good year to do it.
And even if
Somebody
you come
said
by
they have cool
yourself.
fire shows. Is
Yeah,
that
right.
like
If you get
fire in the pool, or do they get like the Hawaiians out there like throwing fire around?
I saw a thing that was a fire show one time. I think it was when I was there without you for going to the aquarium.
But
But
it's over the pond, right?
yeah, in the pond zone.
Fire,
There's
yeah.
it's all there's plenty to do, and there's also all the museums and the downtown stuff that's in St. Louis is like within view. So there's definitely going to be plenty to do, but we're going to keep you busy at the conference because this space is like the biggest still connected space that I've seen. With other, how we had kind of the expo in a room and everybody else was kind of on the other side of the convention center last year. Well, this is going to be very integrated where people walk through to get to the ballrooms and back to the hotel, etc. So we'll be passing one another, stopping by tables, and just enjoying the community more in this space, I think.
Yeah. I just want to encourage everyone that the fire isn't in the hotel pool.
Yes, let's not have
Like,
any
there's
fire
no-
in the hotel. I'm not
Don't worry
into
about that.
evacuating.
Enjoy the hotel pool. There's no fire.
Very good. Now, moving into content instead of location, a couple of things about the conference that are going to be different this year is that we are going to have classes that span 3 full days. We've usually started in the midday and then had, our evening activities. But now we're going to start it right out at 9 a.m. because you know what? People usually arrive on Wednesday anyway. So we figured let's just give you extra content at that point. And so our pre-con is going to be on Wednesday, then classes start on Thursday. And you'll get more conference for your money. Basically, we're not raising the price this year, but you are getting more conference. And one of the good things that this means is that the expo, the panels, special events like book signings, all that are not going to run over like other classes that we had, like it kind of did last year. We are going to have panels and all that kind of things. So you can kind of pick and choose. But I think you'll feel like everything meshes a little better and you don't have to feel like you're missing one thing to do another. That's our goal anyway this year. So I hope we do a great job of that. We're really working hard to make sure that you get to do all the things that you want to do. And we're going to have lots of time to celebrate together. We're going to have time to get to the exhibit hall and pick up your favorite finalist or winner's work there. Um, and then Saturday, is like that best of both worlds, where the conference as we know it and the expo from last year will kind of be more intermixed. There are going to be panels that are specifically for authors, panels for expanded topics and interests, and time for special events, like I was saying, with signings, reveals, and maybe exclusive hoopla, depending on who decides to do what as an exhibitor. I'm hoping for maybe some cool demonstrations or something. So much is possible and in the works, and we'll be able to tell you more about what's going to happen when we get our exhibitors worked out, which is happening very soon. Speaking of these panels that we're going to do on Saturday, if you have an idea for a panel discussion that you think you'd like to help bring to fruition, if you want to be maybe a moderator or you just want to help coordinate a panel, you can propose panel topics to us. We have a form that we've created for it. It is an Asana form. You probably are getting familiar with those because we use them all the time. It will be a place where you can just fill it out, and I will try to get a link in the chat for that as soon as I can.
I just posted it.
Oh, yay, Scott did it. I'm not good at typing and trying to talk at the same time. I can barely walk and chew gum. So now you have the link if you want to suggest a panel topic, and there's some instructions on there for that. Now, we talked about the online conference being separate, like the online retreat and the online conference. This year, we've decided we want to give our events team time to prepare and offer the best online experience possible. So it's a dedicated experience where we're not struggling to manage the in-person demands, which are very significant, at the same time as an online conference. We're still going to live stream a section of our classes, like the biggest, most popular classes are going to be live streamed. All the rest will be recorded, and then they will all be available to watch in July. So that way we can have our conference, then we'll have appointments for our online people, and then later in July, kind of like our normal weekend in the teens, you'll get to have all the content, and we'll host discussions for people who can do it together. If you can't do it at the time that we're having discussions, it can be asynchronous. So you have all kinds of options if you can't travel. We want to make sure that that's robust for you. Dining. Everybody always wants to know, what am I going to eat when I get to this hotel? And this hotel has a great website for the property that has what they have around to eat. It's kind of like the chalet, same property manager, like Scott said, but they have a couple of quick service, like counter meals, like a grab and go cafe. There's a soda fountain, which is kind of like the one at the chalet, but bigger. There's a taco shop that's like built out of a shipping container. You know, they're kind of doing like this whole train theme, obviously, throughout everything. So they're making containers. There's a beer container too. And if you drink beer, fine. You can get a beer later at the beer container. But the taco container, I have a feeling, is going to be popular. What?
They have lame beer at the beer container.
Well, you know, it's local. But there is the taco container, and that sounds good to me personally. I'm not a beer drinker myself. But anyway, there are also sit-down options. So you can go to the Train Shed, which is a nice restaurant for burgers and that kind of thing, like good for kind of American fare. Landry's Steaks and Seafood if you want something a little fancier one of the nights. So you have tons of options, and we hope that you can kind of look ahead at those. I have them on the website, and they have them on their website for your convenience. Now, the one thing that's true this year is it's time to bid a fond farewell to the faculty and attendee dining package. As a lot of you know, last year we had to make an adjustment at the last minute because the cost for catering and taxes and service fees have like skyrocketed since 2020. It's astounding. We were charging $150 for meals to do 3 meals in 2020, and now we can't even afford 2 whole meals for $150. So between like the 25% surcharge for service and the higher sales tax, we're just like, this isn't a good use of your money. Catering these things is just not right. So as a good faith gesture, we're just saying, you know what, let's not try to raise that price and squeeze what we can out of it. We think you'll just be a lot happier if you just use the food that is available in the area. Though, if you are going to be joining the mastermind or the business accelerator, there are going to be some faculty meal hobnobbing type of options, eating together. It'll look different than what we've done before, but the mastermind and accelerator people will have a little bit of an opportunity to network with faculty. This does not affect the awards dinner, though. It's still going to keep happening. We're going to have, when you get your conference ticket, you'll get a seat at the awards. You'll have complete full dinner and dessert, and we'll do our best to manage any dietary concerns that you have. And you'll be able to go and celebrate with the winners of the Realm Awards there. And if you have your costume that you want to wear, that's awesome. If you don't do cosplay, you're going to be the same as 50% of the other people in the room who did not come in a costume. So don't feel like, oh no, I don't know what to do. I'm going to feel weird. I don't have a costume. You can just sit next to Steve Lobby, who has never worn a costume ever to Realm Makers. Everyone's going to sit at Steve's seat. They're like, yep, I'm getting over there. But it is popular to have pictures in costumes and all that. So it's a super fun time.
Hey, before we get to faculty, can I say a few things about exhibitors?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, because the question came up, and I should totally address that. Good news and bad news. Well, it's not really bad news. It's just that I'm delayed in getting that information out. The good news is that it's pretty much ready. I've just been testing, finding problems, fixing problems. If you exhibited last year, it's going to look very similar, as in like the same price. Kind of, you get the same things for the same price, except it's more integrated with the conference.
It's going to work better.
Yeah.
The system that you have.
Yeah. As far as exhibitors go, you can get an author or artist alley table for a couple $100, 6-foot table. We're easing up on some of our rules. Like, if you want to, if you paid to attend the conference and you also want to have a author table, if it's better for you if you've got somebody watching your table. You do get 2 passes for each table that you get as an author or artist alley there, in the 6-foot tables. And you can go, attend a session or whatever, but we're not just like, you must have somebody at your booth 100% of the time. I mean, that's best for you. That's why it was a rule last year. We're just going to ease up on that being feeling so restrictive, right? And also, it's easy to just go get food this year at one of the restaurants, bring it back to your booth. At the convention center, that was more of a restriction. If you want a booth, like an 8x10 booth, as opposed to an author artist alley table, again, like that's the same price. It's $400 for a booth, and there are no premium upgrades. Like last year, you can get, there's like a standard booth, a middle of the exhibit hall booth, and then premium booths at different pricing. Every booth's going to be the same price, but you can upgrade to a corner for a price, right? So inline is $400. You want a corner, you can get a $150 upgrade to get a corner booth. This particular expo, you can enter from like 3 or 4 different areas. So there's really no spot where the entrance is on this side of the expo, and those are the first people that people see. Right? They might come down the stairs from the hotel, they might come from the atrium, they might come from the hotel, or they might come from the ballroom side, or from the exterior doors. So there's no kind of premium placement. I'm super excited about it. It's going to work. One change we're making that will be to exhibitors' benefit is that we're making shopping at the expo free to the public. If all they want to do is walk in, walk through, shop, buy books, there's no cost to do that. But if they want to attend any of the content happening that's expo sponsored in terms of panels or sessions, they would just need to go and buy a ticket to do that. Those aren't open yet, but if you are interested in exhibiting, then I'm not sure if you're already in our mailing list, but you'll be getting an email incredibly soon because everything is just about ready. So if you have any specific questions about exhibiting, you can email exhibitor@realmmakers.com. any questions about exhibiting, but do wait a few days because you're going to get a lot of information that's going to answer all your questions. We'll have the website up, the registration form up. It'll answer all your questions. So thank you. Thank you for asking that question.
All right. We want to circle back to faculty now?
Yes. Back to faculty.
All right.
Exciting.
Well, there we go. The one thing I didn't say also is that the awards dinner is going to be Thursday night again, like we had before. But we'll have a full day of classes, then the awards. So we'll be able to really enjoy that right out of the gate. Our faculty is always a good reveal. Everybody always enjoys seeing who's going to be on there. And some of our favorite editors and agents are going to be back. Some are not. A couple of people won't be with us just because we are at the same time as the American Library Association convention this year. So a couple people are doing that instead. But we are filling our faculty in with agents and editors from all directions. So one of those bad news ones is that Donald Moss won't be able to be with us this year because he has a pre-existing conflict and he felt sad that he couldn't be there. But he will be back in 2027, so that's good news. But another bonus good news here is that this year we'll have literary agent Mark Gottlieb. He is a New York agent with the Trident Media Group, and he is just seems like a delightful guy and is really excited to join us. So we'll have a new agent for people who have not who have already pitched Steve and Donald, and so you can maybe get a chance to meet with Mark. And if you don't get an appointment, there's always those times to just, rub elbows in the breaks and that kind of thing.
But we'll have more time for appointments with the additional time in the day.
This is true. Yes, we're going to try to accommodate as many appointment slots as we can without frying anyone's brain.
Well, I said time in the day, but I guess I meant time in the weekend because we got 3 days instead of 2.
Total hours of appointments is going to be a little bit more expanded, especially because we're doing that extra day. And just so you're aware, if you're worried about staying on top of things or missing any announcements or not getting our emails because they go to spam sometimes, I absolutely recommend that you hang out in the Realm Sphere some. We're going to be putting a lot of our announcements there. We tend to use that space as where our news hub. We put everything on socials and in emails too, but the Realm Sphere is really going to be useful to you, especially if you're coming to the conference, because our conference group is going to be there, and that's how you'll access recordings and all of that. If you choose a limited membership, then you'll already be in there, and it'll just facilitate you being added to the conference group. I think Scott has a little bit more exciting news that we're going to continue to do before we get to our Q&A.
I was just typing an answer here. And I'll just mention,
he was
too,
typing.
because there's so many questions in the Q&A, and we're not going to be able to answer them all in the Q&A, I've replied to quite a few of the questions in the Q&A. So your answer's there, even though we may not address it on the live stream, if it had a simple question or a simple answer to your question. Now, I was trying to find a cool video, but YouTube doesn't download things anymore. But we've got, well, Becky, you did mention the one keynote speaker we've made public so far, right?
Yeah, I did mention that Kathy Gillen. Kathy Tyers Gillen has been on the website and known entity as one of our keynote speakers who we are going to love to hear from. But we have more keynotes than just her.
Yes. Well, so without a cool video to show you, because the audio was not very good, although I may try it just for the heck of it.
He's trying to get the technical things to do their
I don't
job.
know.
I
Do
was
you guys
like,
want
this
me-
is...
you want more of a surprise? You want to determine who this keynote speaker is from watching a video?
Do you want to play the video and see if anyone can guess who he is in the chat? Or
Yeah,
she?
let's do that. I'm going to put you on there while I try
Okay.
to put this at the beginning.
Scott's going to do a little magic in the background, I'm hoping.
Okay. So listen, turn up your volume. Everybody turn up your volume because this
Except
is not
it blasted
loud.
people out
It's just
before.
I'm
We'll
playing a
see how it goes.
YouTube video in my little camera here. So turn up and see. If you're a Gen X, you might have a chance of knowing who this artist is.
Oh,
There's a hint.
There was a hint. Whether people are observant, right? It is definitely not audible in my world. Is it audible for anybody that's not me? Addie's like, this is not my generation. I don't know. You tell me. Why is this good?
Yes. So Steve Taylor is our Saturday keynote speaker. He was known in the AK Clausen says, I hear noise but no words.
Yes.
Kind of, yeah.
That's nice.
Alternative grunge Christian satire. That's kind of what it was. And he sang, so this song was called I Want to Be a Clone, right? So in reality, no, we don't want to be a Christian clone, but that's what he was kind of singing about. He has a lot of songs that are satirical about, maybe all of his songs are satirical, but focused on Christian. He's like our own little Christian industry Weird Al, only really trying to make a point, right?
Yeah, a little bit harder edge than Weird Al.
Yeah, harder edge, right? On the Fritz, I Want to Be a Clone, Meltdown at Madame Tussauds. One song that was like, wow, that's shocking. It was a song called I Blew Up the Clinic Real Good. And it's not saying that you should, it's satirical, right? But he, in his bio, what really got me, and I've met him a few times, he actually shares an office with Mike Naraki.
At Lipscomb University.
Yeah, at Lipscomb University. He teaches film there, and brought Mike Naraki on, who teaches animation, and they share an office there. So I've seen Steve Taylor when we go to Nashville to a conference that we attend there. So super excited about that. But he said he didn't really go for the Christian music of his day. He liked The Clash, but that kind of offered no hope. So that's where he found his spark. He wanted to sing songs that really had slap you in the face lyrics like The Clash, but had an element of hope grounded in Christ. So he's a filmmaker. He was one of the producers of the recent film Sketch, which we screened. No, I wanted to. I didn't get to screen that at Realm Makers last year. But
it was fun. We went and
super
saw it.
Super excited to have Steve Taylor with us. If any of you are involved in the Rabbit Room, he gave their 2020 keynote at Hutchmoot. Of course, that was a video, but he'll be with us in person. So very excited about that. Hope you're excited too. And if you don't know who he is, you're still going to love him.
All right. So does that mean we want to do a little bit of Q&A here for maybe 5 minutes, and then should we like speed run some Q&A?
Yeah. Let's see here. I'm going to look at the most popular. Here we go.
That's what I did too.
So most people want to know whether we will offer 1-day passes. Now, we did that, I think, 1 year, and we haven't done it since. And there, like, you can get a 1-day pass to the expo, but not to the conference.
Yeah, that would be my main recommendation, is if you really can only do a day, I would register for the expo when we get tickets going there. There will still be content to learn as a writer, and you'll have a lot of flexibility, and you'll still be able to see everybody and hang out. 1-day tickets for the regular writers conference, unfortunately, just tends to be a lot of work on our end that doesn't actually apply to enough people, and I feel like the continuity for you just is not. You're not getting as good a product that way.
Well, and there's another very important reason. You may find, if you look at the Christian Writers Conferences that offer a 1-day pass, They're probably not in a hotel conference center that is expensive to be in, right? If they're in a church, if they're in a location that isn't charging an arm and a leg for the space, it makes it easy to do that. For us to have this event in this location, people have to register and then they can attend, and there's not really room to have one-day passes when the overhead is so high. That's really the backbone
That's
of
a
the
big part of
reason.
it too.
Yeah,
Next, I'm going to keep speed running. I'm going to push us forward here.
you got it.
Lena was asking if the keynote would be available to Expo attendees. The Kathy Tires keynote will not, but the Steve Taylor one will. I saw that one of our Realm
Oh,
Makers representatives said, no, the keynotes are for conference attendees only,
yeah,
but
that was me.
The Steve Taylor
Well,
is
Becky
open
thinks
to the
there's room
public.
in the main room for Expo. Are you talking about like attendees of the Expo, like the public coming into the Expo?
Yes. Yeah, we talked about that. So,
Oh, well, we'll have to talk about that again because,
yeah, that's
the room's only
public.
so big. So I would
Yes,
not,
exactly. But
we'll have to
the
talk about that.
yes,
I don't,
we'll figure it out. But the intention is for the final keynote to be open to everybody. List of
okay.
agents, editors, mentors be listed on the website. There are some, and there will be more added. So I will take the blurry picture away of Mark Gottlieb and put him as a real boy now. He's a real
Now,
guy.
you are answering questions that I did answer in text there,
Okay,
but
cool. All right. When will the expo be closed for lunch, Scott?
no, the Expo won't be closed for lunch because everybody doesn't take a siesta for lunch, and that's when shoppers are coming through. So
Yep.
you have to
I
go
would
get
recommend.
food, bring it back.
Yep. Exhibitors can kind of rotate out when it's not busy.
Yep.
If I ever become an author, how would I know if I could get a table at Realm Makers? From Noah. In terms of an exhibitor table, I would say that's just something that you apply for
Yeah,
when
if
you're
you're not an
small.
author now, then just email exhibitor@realmmakers.com when you're looking for, to have one. But the website will be up soon and you'll be able to get all that information. But if you're not looking for it this year, then I wouldn't be able to tell you off into the future when you could do that. But you can join our mailing list. That's again, that'll be up soon. So in a few days, just check the Realm Makers website and look for events, expo, and the exhibitor information.
Yep. AK Clausen says, will the conference registration also link to the hotel rooms like last time? Yes, we have a dedicated link. You'll be able to click on it and get into the room block rooms with the discounted price.
Well, it's there. That's been there for a while, right?
Yep, it's also on the website right now. The
Yeah.
conference hotel page has the link if you want to go book your room now, or you can register and there will be a link in that information as well.
Yep. When you go to the website at the top, just click events, choose conference, and you get that sub menu, and that's where you'll find it all.
All right, let's see. I'm looking for ones that you didn't type on already. All right, will online attendees have the opportunity to pitch virtually again this year? Yes, we will have a selection of people who will take virtual pitches. They will happen not during the main live conference. We're going to have those scheduled after so that those agents and editors are able to give you their full attention. We'll have dates on everything about when those are happening. Raylene may remember off the top of her head, but I don't have it in front of me.
Right. And Erica asks about the conference and the details and the price. I would direct you to the website. That is conference.realmmakers.com. That's a subdomain right to the conference. Or if you just go to realmmakers.com, click events, conference, general information, and all the
And the pricing
submenus.
page is up. So the pricing chart for what it will cost for all the different types of registrations are there.
Yep. See, there will be no food or coffee cart near the sessions because there's food and coffee near enough to the expo without needing an extra cart. They don't have those, but they've got a
There's a
Starbucks right
nice
into the
Starbucks.
hotel,
Yeah, not too far.
and they've got myriad of restaurants like literally right there. So it's all just close enough.
And Noah was asking about the list of speakers. I would definitely say go to conference.realmmakers.com because everybody who is confirmed is on there, except for the blurry Mark Gottlieb. And there might be one other blur. I think, Mr. Stephen Taylor is blurred at the moment too because he was a special announcement tonight. So those are the only two whose pictures are not visible at the moment.
So the one more about when registration goes live, and then we're going to move on to the subscriber only portion of our live
Perfect.
stream.
When does registration for the conference go live? If you are not an annual subscriber to the Realm Sphere, you get to register starting February 1, and we are starting at 6 p.m. because it's a Sunday and we wanted to honor people's need to be at church in the morning and not have overlap with that people felt like I missed the opening registration because I was at church and that was where I was supposed to be. So 6 p.m. Eastern time was when we'll open registration on February 1st. If you are an annual subscriber and had bought that annual subscription before November, then you will get the advance period starting on January 26th, and we will email people specifically and put information in the Realm Sphere for that so that people don't miss out on that.
And maybe, I don't know if we said it before, but our 2027 dates are already secured.
Yeah, I did mention it.
Location. Okay.
Yep.
Cool. All right. Well, this is going to sound like goodbye, but that's only for those of you who are watching on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. If you're watching there, we thank you for tuning in, and we hope to see you at Realm Makers. The rest of you, just stay with us.